Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan and today is a very exciting video because we're going to be talking about a brand new product that's launching in my shop, Little Inklings Design, in just a few days. If you follow me on my Instagram, I shared a sneak peek of it yesterday and you guys were really excited and couldn't wait to hear more about it. So I thought I would just sit down and film a video and show you everything that's included. We're going to be doing a flip through towards the end of the video, and we're also going to be talking about what it is and how it differs from some of our other products, get into all the details. As always, I will have timestamps down below for you to reference if there's something specific you want to know or go back to reference at a later point. Today we're going to be talking all about the Novel Companion Ultra. So you may be sitting there and you're like, Megan, what is the Novel Companion Ultra? You already have the Novel Companion. What's going on? I hear you. We're going to get into it. Before we get into it, I'm going to really briefly talk about my other reading journals that we currently offer. That way, when I reference them further into this video, you know what I'm talking about. So to start, we currently offer two different reading journals that are similar, but also slightly different to try and appeal to whatever type of reader slash journaler you are. The first one that we offer is called the Always Fully Booked Planner. This is the 2023 versions. So the Always Fully Booked Planner is a dated agenda and it is sold every year starting in October as a pre-order, and it's sold in a limited quantity, meaning that once it sells out, it's done for the year. We do that because, as I mentioned, it is a dated agenda, so its time frame is kind of specific. The Always Fully Booked, as I mentioned, it's 12 months. It's jam-packed full of reading goodness. If you want to know more about that specific product, I will leave a link in the cards above that you can watch the 2023 flip through video. Those planners are no longer available. As I mentioned, you can only purchase them a certain time of the year. Once they're sold out, they're done. But it is our most popular reading journal. The Always Fully Booked Planner is capable of tracking up to 120 books. The other reading journal we have is called a Novel Companion. It is still a 12-month reading journal, but it's completely undated. So we sell the Novel Companion throughout the entire year, restocking whenever we're able to. The Novel Companion is basically a smaller and more condensed version of the Always Fully Booked Planner, in that it doesn't have the weekly spreads. There's no agenda portion. Because it's undated, it doesn't have anything date specific in it. And as I mentioned, is smaller, so it is capable of tracking up to 80 books. Now, that being said, let's talk about the Ultra. Brand new reading journal that we are introducing, and I'm really excited about this one because I feel like it maybe fills in a gap that was missing from our other two reading journals. I wanted to try something that is still similar, that it fits into our style of reading journal. So if you're familiar with what we do, it still fits with that, but I did make some changes and tried some new things that I'm really excited about. Hopefully you guys will be too. The Novel Companion Ultra is our biggest reading journal we have ever created, both in size and capacity. So that being said, I'm really excited to tell you that the Novel Companion Ultra is capable of tracking up to 200 books. And similarly to the regular Novel Companion, it's still completely undated, meaning you can start it any time of the year. You can skip time periods if you aren't really reading anything or don't have anything to keep track of, or you just don't have the time. It's really adaptable that way. And because it's capable of tracking 200 books, depending on how you use it, you really could extend it a little bit further than a year. I've seen some comments and feedback online about how my current lineup just maybe wasn't enough and they didn't always want to have to get the add-on products, and they just needed something a little bit more. Hopefully this will help. I know there are people that read more than 200 books, but I still wanted to keep it accessible to those who do read a little bit less, but maybe wanted a different style of reading journal, which you'll see once we get into it. It also, as I mentioned, is our biggest, just in size. So the Novel Companion Ultra is 8 by 10 inches, so it is our biggest reading journal, and I love that it is a little bit bigger because it allowed us to expand some of the pages to give you more room on them without making it like a giant reading planner that's like super thick. You get more space, but and less pages. Something I tried to do with the Novel Companion Ultra is I really tried to streamline the process of how you use the reading journal. Some feedback that I have gotten in the past about some of my other reading journals is that there was a little bit too much redundancy, which was just kind of used for creating different spaces depending on how you wanted to use the pages. There was a lot of different options. It was open to your creativity, that kind of situation. With the Novel Companion Ultra, I tried to do something a little bit different and create, as I mentioned, something a lot more concise and streamlined and minimal, while still giving you the freedom for some creativity, hopefully to eliminate some of the redundancy for some readers who just want like a simple reading journal without as many bells and whistles and extra stuff. That's what I went for with the Ultra. So really quickly, let's just talk about a couple of really important things. As I mentioned, the Novel Companion Ultra is 8 by 10 inches, so it is our biggest. It is capable of tracking up to 200 books, so it's a bigger capacity. It is a soft cover, but it has rose gold foiling on the border, and on the title has a rose gold coil. The back just has a little quote and doodle on it. The Novel Companion Ultras, they will go on sale Wednesday, April 5th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on my website. I do want to mention this is a new product, so it is going to initially be sold in a limited amount, just kind of to see kind of what the interest is. It will restock though, because it is undated, as I mentioned. We will be restocking it like we do with the regular Novel Companion. One thing I'm sure you guys are all wondering is the price. So the Novel Companion Ultra will be $39 Canadian. That's all the kind of info I really wanted to get into before we get to the flip through, because we'll get into a lot more once we get into that. So I'm going to spin you around and we're going to get into what's inside the Ultra. Okay, so before we get into the flip through of the Novel Companion Ultra, I thought I would show you a size comparison so you can see the difference all laid out between the three reading journals. We have the regular Novel Companion, the Always Fully Booked Planner, and then the Ultra. So let's get into the flip through and what's all included with the Novel Companion Ultra. Starting off, we just have a regular title page, and then we move into the important info and goals page. Nothing really has changed here. You've seen this layout before if you've seen our other reading journals. It's just bigger, so you have more space. Then we get into the reading log. You have 2 spreads of this, so there's lots of space to write in whatever types of books you're reading, or if you don't want to use it as a reading log, you could use it as a checklist of books you do want to read. So there's the second spread. And we get into the bookish haul. This is meant to be used as just a haul for the entire time period you're using this journal. So you've got your date, your book, where it was from. You've got a blank category that you can use in whatever way works for you. Some people like to record price. Some people like to add a checkbox for if they ended up reading that book, so you know what you're reading from what you're buying. Lots of different ways you can use this haul page. Again, you have 2 spreads of that just to keep track of any type of items that you're purchasing or even just borrowing from the library. It doesn't have to be something you've purchased. Then we have the blank bookshelf page. It is extended, so there's way more books on here than any of our other reading journals. So this bookshelf page can hold 200 books. And we move into 5-star reads. And then we have this blank page, which can be open to your interpretation. So whether you want to keep track of your book club picks or your favorite book of each month, the top books of the entire year, or book selections from book boxes, you can keep track of this however you want. You can put your title up here. You could print covers, draw covers. You could just write the title here, whatever works for you. And then there's a star rating to keep track. And then we have the book series tracker. Then we get into the reading challenge section of the book. We've got the A to Z challenge just on one page like we have in the regular companion, just to keep things a little bit more condensed. We've got the fully booked reading challenge, but we did eliminate the 2 prompts that had to do with a specific year. That way you can still do the challenge, but it's not year specific to keep the entire book undated. Then we have the on the cover reading challenge and the reading rainbow challenge. the genre challenge and the read through the ages challenge, which is a new challenge we introduced last year. From there, we have the around the world reading challenge. And then beside that is just a coloring page of a doodle I did. I think this one's really fun. Each book represents a different genre. Then we move into the reading goal tracker, which tracks, as you can see, up to 220 books. So lots of room here if you are a big reader to keep track of how many books you're reading. A new page to this is the monthly reading stats. As you will see a little bit later in the Novel Companion Ultra, one thing we did to condense and streamline the process is we actually took out the monthly wrap-up pages. Some feedback we did get was they felt like some of our other reading journals, you were recording information in multiple different places, and some people wanted just like one place. So that's why we have the reading log and the haul at the beginning, so that it's just one place to record throughout the entire time you're using the journal, instead of recording the same information in multiple places. This is why we created the monthly reading stats. So you can still keep track of your monthly reading stats. It's just in one chart instead of being spread out throughout the whole journal. I actually created this in my own planner to use for my reference for the entire year, and I've loved using it. So I think you guys are going to really like having it in the Ultra. So you can record the month, how many books you read, total pages or time, or both, whatever works for you. How many books, how many ebooks, how many audiobooks, how many books you DNF'd. You can record how many 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star books, your average rating, and then we did leave a blank category if there's anything else in this that you want to record that is specific to your stats. And then you can have a total at the bottom, which will really help if you plan on creating any type of bar graph, pie charts, etc. Another new addition is this little genre tally down here. I also created this in my planner, and I decided to add it into the Ultra because some people were wanting a way to record how many of each genre they were reading throughout the year, just for if you wanted to create any kind of graphs or charts, you have that information. You can just write what the genre is and then keep track of how many books as a tally format, total them up at the end. But really easy to keep track of everything, and you just have all your information on one page rather than spread out throughout the journal. Speaking of charts and graphs, we have 3 pie charts pre-built for you. Genres, book format, star rating with a key that's open to however many you're gonna need. So you could take the stats right from this page and plug them into your pie charts really easily. From there, we've got the Battle of the Books, which is something we've done a few times, so nothing new there. This is something we introduced in the planner last year after I made my own, and a lot of you said you wanted it incorporated, so I added it here. The only difference you'll really see is that the months are missing because this is undated, so you can fill that in however it applies to you. The title is blank. It does have the numbers. You could use this as a habit tracker. You could use this as a page tracker, genre tracker, format tracker. I've seen so many different ways of using this, but the blank template is there if you want it. And then we just have a bunch of dot grids for you to use. You can add in whatever works for you. There are a lot there. And from there, we move into a brand new monthly format in its new condensed, streamlined fashion. So on one side of the page, you have a blank calendar where you add the month, you fill in the dates. There's a couple lines at the bottom in case there's anything important you want to keep track of there. You could use this to keep track of what days you're reading, what books you're finishing on which day. You could use this to keep track of any appointments, birthdays, holidays, anything you want to use a calendar for, you've got one. And then we've got the books to read list. Just for that month, what books you plan on reading that way. We've got a small box for new releases in case there's anything important you don't want to miss. It could be books. You could also keep track of TV shows or movies coming out that month that you want to be aware of. It's just a small little space for you to keep track of that. Pretty open, a little bit more condensed than what you would see in the planner, but the information is still there. Then you've got this empty space down here, which you can do whatever you want with it. And then, as I kind of very briefly touched on, The Ultra differs because it does have weekly spreads, but these are a little bit different than what you have seen before. So we created something that is called a dashboard layout. So while it does keep track of the days, it's a lot more focused on keeping track of a week as a whole, with a space to just jot one or two things down on the day. There's a lot of different ways you could use a template like this, but basically you plug in what the week is, and we kept it blank so that you can fill in all the information, meaning you can skip weeks if you need to. But it has Monday through Sunday here, just if there's something on a specific day that you do need to record, if you want to keep track of what you're reading on those days, how many pages you read those days, any events you have those days, appointments, etc., you have that. But then it also has this checklist here that you can use for anything you have going on in that week. So whether it's a grocery list for the week, meal ideas for the week, social media posts you need to do that week, a to-do list for that week, if you have a readathon, maybe what you need to tackle for that week. Whatever you can think of, it can be used, but it's more to give you just a glance at a week. It just takes what's most important, and it's less intimidating than maybe filling out an entire weekly spread. This was born of the people who gave feedback on the planner. Maybe the weekly spreads were just a bit too intimidating for them. They didn't have that much going on, but just still wanted to keep track of some things, but maybe a little bit more condensed and edited down so that your information can really shine. Then at the bottom here in this corner, it's just a small little line section. Maybe keep track of like the pages you read in the week, or your highlight and low light. Some people like to do really anything. These weekly spreads are really meant to be adaptable to like so many different things. And like I mentioned, because there's no dates, if you have nothing going on in a week, or you're sick, or you're on vacation, you can just skip it and move on, and it wouldn't make a difference because you're filling it all in yourself. Each of the days does have a really light lined area. Some people had mentioned in the horizontal layout of the planner that they wished it had lines, so I did incorporate a really light one per month. So you've got your calendar, books to read, new releases, and then you've got 5 weeks for every month. So you actually have a little bit more than what you need for an entire year. So depending on how you want to play around with that, but you do have 5 weeks per month. And then at the very end is just a blank dot grid page, full 8x10 dot grid that is open to whatever you want to do with it. Some people like to print out the book covers they read in that month. You could do that here. Some people like to make charts to keep track, like a bar graph of pages read. Some people like to do habit trackers for the month. You could, again, totally open to your interpretation. So while the Novel Companion Ultra has been really edited down, there's so much room to make it yours and give you that creativity in a more streamlined book. You got 60 weekly spreads. You've got 12 of the calendars, 12 of these pages here. We did keep it really grayscale inside so that you can add your own touch to it. I know not everybody likes that. Some people really like having the color themes, but they're really designed for you to be able to adapt it for your creativity. It's just a blank canvas to make your information shine. As I mentioned, that repeats 12 times. And then we come to the review section. A little bit of a change on the review section. You have a space to add a book cover, or if you don't want to add a book cover, you could add stickers, whatever fits for what you have going on. There's a space there for you. We also added a setting and main character prompt here in case you want to keep track of that. And there's just a few lines. Because the book is wider, you do have kind of the same amount, but it doesn't quite look like it because it's shorter. But there's 3 per page, 6 per spread, over 200 review spaces in this book. So you've got lots of pages for reviews. And then at the very, very end, we've just got some blank lined pages. So the dot grid pages are all at the front. Line pages are all at the back. And that is everything. That is a look at the Novel Companion Ultra. One thing I did want to quickly mention is, as I mentioned, the novel companion is capable of tracking up to 200 pages. So with the reading goal tracker, you've got over 200. With the bookshelf page, you've got 200. The reviews, you've got 200. The only place that you will not see that 200 represented is the reading log page. So I've got two of them. It adds up to just over 100, but I will be releasing a free printable of the 8x10 size of the reading log. So if you do want to use this for that purpose as a reading log, you can add in the extra reading log space when you need it. And we just did that because not everyone likes to have a written log form, so we didn't want to have it be too many. A lot of people just wanted to be able to track what they're reading on the bookshelf page, so that's where you'll find the 200 spaces. But just for those of you who do want to use the reading log, as I mentioned, we will have that printable available for you, but in the meantime, this is the only section that tracks a little bit less than the 200. So just wanted to make a note of that. That is the Novel Companion Ultra. And as I mentioned, it will be available to purchase on my website on Wednesday, April 5th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The whole book is 8x10. It is our biggest reading journal yet, and it is priced at $39 Canadian. I'm really excited to have a new addition to the reading journal family here at Little Inklings. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.